And now it's time to moving to what's next. So you saw how things started out, and here is where we're at. The great news is these E90 cars, E9X cars in general, they're pretty common, right? Alpine white is hands down the most popular color for this chassis. And I mean, it's classic BMW. It's the most popular color that you'll find in these cars. And so I've already sourced the rear bumper as well as the rear trunk. So I'm gonna give you a look at what I have here. I'm gonna give you a side-by-side because that'll really show you the extent of the damage. And it'll also give you a really good sense of how big of a come up this is. Get this thing out. All right. That's the rear bumper. You know, look at that nice, perfect trunk. It's a little dirty, but man, what an improvement. It even has the taillights in still. So here we go. We've got the Hot Boy bumper. Torn up, mangled, you know? And we've got the new one. New to me. New to me one. Nice, clean, no damage to it. Doesn't have the badge, but I like it. It's a cleaner look anyway. The lights are in. It has the fender liner underneath. It even has the door pull, has the latch. And in terms of the rear bumper, here it is. Now it's a little bit twisted from being in a car, but it's malleable because it's plastic, right? And it'll go in there pretty good. Mind you, this is what we're coming from. So coming from the convertible bumper here. Let's get this thing on. Fortunately, I'm able to prop it up in a way that it doesn't touch the glass, and it gives me some room to attach it. All right, once you have everything tightened up, keep in mind that it might still require some adjustment to get everything lined up, but let me give you a sense of how it kind of looks. Try to move this out the way. Okay. So here it is already looking better. I'm going to put on these hood struts. Excuse me, trunk. Instead of trunk struts, right? You just attach it, and then you put on that clip. You put back on this little clip or clasp, whatever you want to call it. Here it is. The struts, the trunk struts are on both sides. Let me show you how it looks. Here we go. The taillight, this one's a little bit out, like I mentioned, so I have to get it back in. But other than being dirty, which that cleans up, I'd say it's coming along pretty good. All right, so with the trunk out the way, next up to tackle is the bumper. So need to get this thing off. I think it should be somewhat straightforward. There's usually an attachment point along in the fender liners, as well as maybe underneath. I don't know. You know, the thing is pretty beat up, so I'll have to see where to attach it. Clearly there are these tabs that I'll have to contend with, but I think at a minimum I'll start with the fender liner. So one thing you want to do is look at the replacement bumper to find the attachment point. Just like the car, I have it oriented the same direction, right? I could look and see that once I get off the fender liner, that would go here. Is going to be one attachment point at the top, right? Where basically the top of the wheel here. There's nothing here. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then across the back. So there'll be 3 3 on each side, on the driver's side and the passenger side, and then an additional few back here. It looks like here there's 5, 3 on the driver's side and 2 on the passenger side. What I intend to do is I've removed these 3, one in the fender liner, move it back to get the top one that's right around here, and then I'll be moving my way underneath the car. There they are. Those are the 3 on the driver's side. There'll be some in the back, and then on the passenger side. So let me get to it. Underneath now, here are the 3. I'm on the driver's side, so it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 more on the driver, 2 toward the back, and then the last 3 on the passenger side. Again, this is an 8 millimeter, and just loosen these up, and I think we're pretty much done. After this, you just take off the tabs at the top right here. So once you get them all out, it's just a matter of taking off the bumper. It also attaches underneath here. I'm gonna have to remove the tail lights in order to be able to have access to those tabs. So you have to take out the inside liner that's in here. Basically you twist this, lefty loosey, then take it out. It was a little bit difficult for me because it's bent in, right? So it's a tight space. Once you remove that, then you can have access to the back of the light, tail light, and it's held on by these screws. 1, 2, and then 3 over there. This whole thing will come out and it'll give us access to underneath the light, where we'll be able to remove the rear bumper on both sides. All right, so on the driver's side, it has this flap where you just remove it actually, and then you have access to the driver's side tail light. And here you can see it a little bit better. Here here's where you have to loosen here, and then to on the other side. All right, so with those removed, it should be pretty straightforward. So now we can see the tabs, what it's holding on to. There's this thing. So I know some tabs are underneath there. I'll figure out how to take that off and we'll go from there. Okay, so the long and short of it is right here is this piece right here. Just take it off with a screwdriver and you'll see the last screw. Then the rest of it comes out. Even here, all you have to do is essentially lift it over and you're good to go. And with that, the bumper's off. So let's take a look at what the old bumper, the damaged bumper, looks like next to the new one. All right, out with the old and busted, and in with the new and rusted. You can see the old one. It has the damage right here where the guy hit whatever he hit. I don't even know. Tore the bumper pretty good. But the new one, even this little the tow hook cover came off. Fortunately, the new one has all of those things, so I could see that it's the same attachment points, right? Just like the old one, it even has the tow hook cover, and like the trunk, it's Alpine white. Again, the easiest color to find for any BMW. The rear of the car now, we can see what it looks like. Now, fortunately, it missed the bash bar, So there's no damage to this whatsoever, but this little plastic thing, you know, where I had to remove the cover to get the tab, this is broken, right? And it'll need this. So I need to find whatever this is. More important than that is that it's not so damaged that I can't find the part number. And it seems like the part number is right in the center. So if this is where the latch is, right in the center, it has the part number. I have to straighten it out a bit, but ultimately I could get to it, and I'll know how to find it and how to source it. Ideally, I could find it on eBay or Amazon and find it for cheap. In terms of the actual damage, it's nothing crazy. What I'll do next is I'll have a tool that will help me straighten this out. How the tool works, in essence, that you prop it inside the trunk or whatever, you know, hard point you could get, and you hand pump and it pushes it out little by little. It's essentially a hand puller. If not, I'm gonna tie a chain on a tree and yank this thing out, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But in the meantime, here we are. So folks, thanks for taking a watch. We're getting there. And until next time, drive safely. Take care, folks.